Andrei Tarkovsky is easily one of my favorite directors of all time. His films are chock full of philosophical ideas wrapped into taut cinematic vistas. I haven't watched all of his filmography yet, but I have seen two of his films that are inspirational to the sci-fi genre and filmmaking in general, Solaris and Stalker. But perhaps my favorite so far of his is Mirror, or Zerkalo in Russian, made in 1975. It's a film that defies movie conventions and tells the story of a family and history of a people through tumultuous times while using a modernist technique. For this video, I'll be looking at the structure, cinematic techniques, and my interpretation of the themes in the film. So without any further ado, let's dive into the film Mirror. To understand the film Mirror, one must understand the artist behind it all, Andrei Tarkovsky. At the time of the production, Tarkovsky and his co-writer, Alexander Mishanin, had done several drafts of the script, and the Russian state-sponsored production company, Goskino, didn't approve the film for the longest. What motivated Tarkovsky was the need to make an autobiographical film. Incorporated into the film are poems written by his father, Arseny Tarkovsky. The plot of the film isn't linear, and the film is more of a mosaic of events happening after the next. The film is divided into three timelines: pre-war 1935, war of the 1940s, and post-war 1960s to 70s. The film follows a man, Alexei, in his 40s, recounting his childhood memories. Through this meditation on past events, some film critics have called the film a visual poem. As Alexei reminisces on his childhood, Tarkovsky uses long takes, slow motion, and dolly shots to immerse the viewer into the world. Critics have called the images of Alexei's childhood dream imagery and oniric. The film as a whole is constructed in the modernist literary tradition of stream of consciousness, a technique used in James Joyce's Ulysses and Marcel Proust in Search of Lost Time. Modernism in both the art and literary world can be defined as a break from the past and a search for new forms of expression that better reflect reality. In the art world, this was shown by movements like Cubism, Impressionism, Post-Impressionism, Realism, and Pointillism, and others that break away from Neoclassicism, Renaissance, and Romanticism. For the literary tradition, it was breaking away from the flowery language and cordiality of the English tradition, and Romanticism in favor of realism. This was shown by the sparse down descriptions and more subjectivity into the narrative. For the novel In Search of Lost Time, Proust also focuses on the narrator's recollections of childhood and the experience into adulthood. The novel also has a narrator that talks from an adult perspective, like the narrator in Mirror. Time itself also seems to be a driving engine of both works, and allows for a meditative nature in the expression of both. Like In Search of Lost Time, the narrator takes a backseat to the narrative, and in Mirror, Alexei does as well, since he is not seen on screen as an adult. It's against the backdrop of time that the meaning of life is considered, both through society and the individual. To go even further, this can be seen in the different generations of family to Alexei. Actress Margarita Terehova plays Alexei's wife, Natalia, and Alexei's mother, Maria. Another similarity is the actress who portrays Maria as an elderly grandmother, and also a stranger that answers the door at one scene. The character of Alexei and his son Ignat both experience parental problems. Alexei's father abandons them, while Alexei himself divorces Natalia. A reason being because of the resemblance she has to his mother. Again, like in the earlier scene, Natalia looks in a mirror as a parallel to the elderly woman looking in the mirror earlier. The child actor Ignat Dantasilev plays a young Alexei and Alexei's son Ignat. This calls to mind the idea of transgenerational trauma, psychological theory suggesting trauma that is transferred through generations. Alexei and his family drama serves as a springboard into the story to the problems faced by the Russian people, a sense for stability and identity. This is shown through the newsreel footage of war and conflict. Russia was racked with World War I, a social revolution, World War II, and the Sino-Soviet border conflict. The placement of this footage serves as a good juxtaposition to the events played out in the film. In response to the traumatic nature of the past in Alexei's life and therefore the narrator in search of lost time, it seems involuntary memory a subcomponent of memory that happens when cues in everyday life evoke reflections of the past without a conscious effort. It seems that could be a coping mechanism for the hardships in the past. For the narrator in Proust's novel, it was a dipping of mandolin cake into a cup of tea. For Mirror, Alexei's memories, or rather dreams, are random, but in both cases, childhood is seen as a refuge. The involuntary memory serves as an answer to the question of life's meanings and hardships. It provides some escapism from current issues while also adding meaning to life's hardships. For Tarkovsky, this film and a lot of his other works seems to highlight a spirituality through cinema, a contemplation on his inner demons, his soul, and identity. Tarkovsky's films are not simple film fanfare. They're philosophical treatises in cinematic form. Mirror is a film that takes a hard look at a person's life, ostensibly like that of the director, and presents a dreamlike landscape of memories of trauma, war, and family struggle. This is juxtaposed against nature and time itself. Familial struggles repeat themselves over the years, allowing for a film that could be relatable to anyone. And lastly, how memory itself can be a gateway to calming our inner soul when we reach the end of our days. Well, that's it. Again, thanks for watching. For my next video, I'll be discussing the Russo brothers and how their filmmaking improved the Marvel Cinematic Universe. On the left is a video from Life Stories of Old, as they discuss Andrei Tarkovsky's style in his films. A great video called Praying Through Cinema. Again, if you haven't already, please hit the like button, share and subscribe. Again, thanks for watching, and see you in the next video. God bless.